What's up you guys, welcome back to another video. Today I want to talk a little about 5 places I would love to live in for at least a year, or try to live in for a year. Some of these I am specific within cities. I have one where I'm specific within the city, one where I'm specific within a certain part of the country, and the 3 others are just countries in general, because I am kind of unsure where I would like to live if I were in those countries. And these are top 5. You probably saw it in the title. Yeah, so if I just stop. Number 5, Australia. I would absolutely love to live in Australia for a year, as much as I hate spiders and snakes and anything poisonous. But I would love to try to live in like Sydney or Melbourne for or somewhere like. I would love to at least try to live somewhere in Australia for a little bit, see what it was like, even though it would drain myself a little when I'm going to go from Norway to Australia and from Australia to Norway again, if you get what I mean. But I would love to be like in Sydney, if I were to be specific, because I would love to be anywhere in Australia as long as it's far away from the most poisonous animals. Like, I know for a fact that there are cities there, so I'm gonna be okay with that. I would love to live in like a big city, and Sydney is probably the one I would pick up because 5 Seconds of Summer. It's not because it's the biggest city, but it's because of 5 Seconds of Summer, basically. And the Sydney Operas, and yeah. And number 4, England. I have been to England once when I was a couple of years ago. I think it was 2013. Wow, that's 4 years ago. Anyways, yeah, I've been to England. I was in London and I loved it as much as I would know in hell drive in England. Drive the left side of the road. Why you gotta do this to me? Yeah. But I would love to live in England for like a year, as long as I don't have to drive. If I were to pick some places, I would probably pick like Liverpool, Manchester, or London. But I think it would be really cool to live in England for like a year. I don't think I would live any longer in England because I speak a lot of English from before. And I think that if I were to live in England for longer than a year, I think that would really notice on my friends, because I already put so many English words into my language as I speak Norwegian, and that's really bad. I tried to make my language more Norwegian again. That's why I actually watched that much Scum. That was the number one reason why I started to watch Scum again, and then I became obsessed with it. Whoops. And therefore I think if I were to live longer than a year in England, then people will legit have to speak English to me as much as I would understand them speaking Norwegian. Like, I think I would answer them in English. So sorry for my friends. No, I'm just kidding, but you know what I mean. I would probably switch up my language a lot, and that's why I also would only live 1 year in Australia, right? But British English is something that sometimes take over my language, and sometimes I tend to speak American English, sometimes British English, sometimes it's mixed between both. But I love England to pieces, and I would love to be there, and I freaking love British accents. Coming up at number 3, we got the USA, and that means after Donald Trump. Once he's done with being president, then I'll think about it, because I don't know, because I think America would be pretty cool, and they also drive on the right side. Thank goodness. If I were to be specific on where in America I would live, I would either live in like Orlando, Florida, because we were there when I was 10. I think I was 9 turning 10 actually. I don't know. It was either 2011 or 2012, and it was really cool there, even though it was really warm. Or I would love to go to New York. I would so love to go to Broadway. I think it was so cool to like watch something there, even though it's big cities, you know. Yeah. It's a big city. And I would absolutely love to be in North Carolina, where one of my old friends from the internet is from. We became friends because of Percy Jackson, and I haven't spoken to him since. And he is 2 years older than me, I think. Yeah, he is. I think he was. Yeah, he's 2 years older than me, so he's either he's 18 or he's around 19, 20. Like he's at least older than me, and yeah. But I would love to actually get to meet him, or I would go somewhere else in the US where if I got to figure out where my other friend from the internet is from, which I did not connect over fan stuff. But other than that, I think America would be pretty cool to live in, you know. And I have more than one internet friend there from, so I know for a fact that some of my friends, I know one of my friends, Maria, she's going to study in the US. Not this year, the first year of high school, but the second year. So by next year, I'm going to be talking about how much I miss her. So have fun. No, I'm kidding. I'm gonna do it, but either way. But yeah, I would still love to live in the US for like a year and try out and see what it would be like. But again, the English thing would get to my head. So yeah, that's why I wouldn't go to live there longer than that. And moving to number 2, this one's gonna surprise you a little bit, and this is why I'm being specific with the side of the country, and that is the western part of Norway. And I know you guys like, what about eastern, where you know Oslo and stuff are, which people think is south, but the thing is, Oslo is not south, it's east. Okay, thank you. North of Norway is just a lot. But I would love to go to the west of Norway and live there for about a year because I have family there and I would love to be closer to them. The thing is, my dad is from the south, my mom's from the west and of Norway. So as we live in the south, we live about 45 minutes or like 30 minutes to an hour away from people on my dad's side of the family, whilst we live 6 to 7 hours depending on the traffic. It can be, one time my mom and I used like 11 hours to get home from there, and the western side, and I would absolutely love to live there for like a year to get closer to my cousins, even though it's all are just 4 boys, but they are all really nice, and one of them is like moving to Oslo with his girlfriend, so great for you. Guess who they're gonna get visited from when guess they're gonna get visited from whenever there's it's like a vacation or a holiday where people in high school are really gonna. I'm like the best cousin ever, I promise. But yeah, I think it would be nice. I mean, like getting a bigger connection to people in my family, and also for the fact that's actually the bigger side of my family, as I only have 2 cousins on my dad's side and 4 on my mom's side. So get it. But I think it would be really cool to live in Western Norway for like a year, even though maybe my dialect would change a little bit in Norwegian, but my dialect's already been changing up. Like I legit have this very mixed up accent. Sometimes it's like I speak very quickly, and if they hear it, it's like it goes and people will sometimes not understand what I'm saying because it's legit a lot of Norwegian dialects with a hint of English in it, like English words in it. It's bad. Coming up in number 1, you better have seen this coming if you watch my videos, and as much as I'm obsessed with TV show from this place, now I'm specific with city, and yes, it's still Norway, and yes, I'm talking about Oslo. I would love to live at least a year in Oslo, as I was there for like 3 days, and I was like, we should have been here longer. And it's the fact that I got to see all these places. Like I got to see the Scum School. I got to see the Kaffebrenneriet from the 3rd season. You know where is it I met up. I got to see the hotel again, which I always have seen so many times. And I got to see all these places, and it was amazing to like get to see all of this. And yeah. And I also got to go to Espoo and meet the mother of Henrik Holm. Think about it. You know when you meet the mother of an actor, it's like you will freak out about that too. You will not just freak out if you meet the actor, you will freak out if you meet the actor. Like if Henrik was there, I'd freak out a lot. But then I got to meet Siv, and I'm like, I was so emotional that day. Like after, and I was happy. Like I was so pleased when we were at school and everything, so I was like smiling, but then we got to meet her, and then it's like you couldn't get that smile off my face even if you tried. You could have told me if I had a dog that my dog died, and I would be still like, it's okay, and then have a tear rolling down my face while I was smiling. But really, I would love to live like a year in Oslo and see what it would be like. As I don't live in a big city. I live like right outside Norway. Like, I don't know, like it once was like sixth biggest. Now I think it's like eighth biggest city in Norway. And the fact that that city is not that big either, but I don't live in it, and yeah, so I live in this small part outside of a huge city. Huge city. It's not even you know, if you think city is like this huge thing, then the thing is Oslo is barely a city then. I'm kidding. I'm not kidding. I mean, I'm seriously not kidding. But I would love to be in Oslo and see what it was like. And also for the fact I wouldn't lose my Norwegian part. Like, I probably would get a lot more of an Oslo accent. So, Porsche Norwegian. It would be hilarious, trust me. And yeah, maybe I would, during that year, see actors and actresses, and really it would just be really cool. And I think also the fact that Oslo is a really beautiful city, and I remember when I was younger, if there was one thing I wanted to complain about in my country, it was the people of Oslo, because it was like, you always got to hear about Oslo when people were talking about Norway, and then a second it would be the fjords and everything, because everybody talked about those, and I was from a place where it was no fjords, it was not Oslo and everything like that, and I thought it was really funny how now I love Oslo to death, and I've been in Oslo so many times, and I probably have walked, for all we know, I might have walked past all of the actors, or some of them. Think about it, for all we know, I could have walked past Torre without even knowing when I was 12. Oh, that's funny because he'll be 14 and it's kind of funny, but he was adorable when he was 14, I promise you. But it's kind of weird to think about how I've been to Oslo so many times and I never loved Oslo more than I do now, because now I feel like a part of me is missing that I am not in Oslo. I felt like so happy to actually be there, and the fact that compared to a lot of people, I have it a lot cheaper going to Oslo. Like, there's so many people that have to pay so much for it. Well, I'm just like, I'm a 5 hour drive from there. It actually goes faster for us to drive to Oslo than go to my grandparents' place on my mom's side, and that says a lot. It takes us a short time to get to the capital of Norway, and this capital is been such a big part of my life lately because of a TV show that turned my world upside down. And I would love to see what it would be like to live there for an entire year and try it out. I think it would be really cool, and the fact that you can try something new at the same time as it's the same, because Norway has its similarities in every single city, and that's for the fact that Norwegian people tend to actually be really kind. But the dialect changes, and there are parts of a big city life that is different from a small city life. And the fact that also it's a medium-sized city-ish, I think it would be lovely to try it out and see what it would be like. But, that's just my opinion. If you were to live anywhere for 1 year, or make yourself a top 5 list, where would you like to live? If I were to give some honorable mentions, I would probably go with Rome or somewhere in Italy, as much as I hate the driving there. Like, Rome is a dangerous place, but it's beautiful. Rome is beautiful, but the driving is bad, and there are parts that I'm like, okay, no thanks. I would also like to try to see what Naples would be like, in Venice. And I would love to go back to Spain, but I think I would rather go to Madrid than where I was before. I would love to go to Madrid, see what it was like there for a year. But if I had to speak Spanish, I would kill myself. I'd probably kill myself if I had to speak Italian later, because I can't. I can't speak Italian. I suck at Spanish. I have 3 years. Still don't know how to speak Spanish. I would love to go to Germany too, actually, because I think it'd be really cool, but don't speak German either, But yeah, I think I would love to go to any country, really. But my top 5 is still Australia, England, the United States, Western part of Norway, and Oslo. Because as much as I love my own place, I think they're really, really cool to try to live another place further. I love my room, I love where I live, I love my house, I love my friends. But think about it. For 1 entire year, you can live anywhere the hell you want. Where would you live? Right? I think it would be cool to also try to Poland or something. Try to go to Poland, that'd be cool. Yeah. But remember, leave your comments down below, and later I'll try to make a video about musicals because I am currently obsessed with musicals. But I will see you guys later, and bye!